What's the crack? Welcome back to the Irish Voice podcast. Back again with Mum and Kieran to discuss the world of Manchester United. We're away there for a couple of weeks break.
Nice wee reprieve.
Short ahead, watch some international bullshit football.
Oh,
Senegal beating England before we even start.
couldn't believe it. I was wondering what you were laughing at, and then I checked the scores, and I was like, "Oh right."
How do you go from drawing with Ireland to beating England?
Yeah.
And
not a good.
those outside of the UK, it's because Ireland are absolute dog shit and England are meant to be the next World Cup champions. So 4 topics tonight that we're going to discuss. Number 1, because it's been lively in the group chat, we're going to discuss Viktor Gyökeres. Number 2, Mum's favourite segment, Word on the Street.
Yep.
Number 3, I look at Ruben Amorim's pre-season. And number 4, I've gone for the Club World Championships, which I'm mildly looking forward to. But let's look in, right? So Viktor Gyökeres, where are we at?
God, well,
He
Fabrizio
was signed 2
Romano.
nights ago and then nothing happened.
Oh yeah, apparently, according to people at Goldbridge, he was done, signed, sealed, delivered, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
There's been when Fabrizio Romano was come out and said, they put another video up today. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but he had even said that there's been no club to club talks yet. It's literally the Manchester United being in touch with the agents of Gyökeres, like in contact with Sporting, just feeling like the move or the possibility of a move, which has been confirmed by Fabrizio today.
Fabrizio Romano, right, is the lord of ambiguous wording. Mum and I had this conversation before. If you actually look at the way he structures what he tweets, he announces nothing until it's already done. So all Romano came out and said was Manchester United are interested in Viktor Gyökeres. Of course Manchester United are interested in Viktor Gyökeres. That's not a story.
No.
But people took that and ran with it, and as soon as it hit on Sky Sports News, it was, well, the deal is close, and United have had secret talks. And the one that really flipping wound me up, Ruben Amorim has kept in touch with the player, and the players have talked. That's tapping up. That is the literal definition of tapping up a player. Ruben Amorim is not allowed to speak to Viktor Gyökeres. Stop talking shite. And the tweet today that you're referencing, Kieran, is in direct correlation with the Sporting Lisbon president having an interview early today where he said exactly what Fabrizio Romano has just broke on social media. No one has contacted us. The idea that we agreed on a set fee with his agent back in January is a lie. It never happened. And that he will not be going for the 60 million euro that is being touted. It will be higher than that, but that they did promise his agent that he will not be held to ransom, that they understand that no player has left the Portuguese league for 100 million euro, so the fee won't be 100 million euro. Now that's not to say it won't be 80 or 90.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. I know there was nothing confirmed, nothing done. The only thing literally was leaving work, and Fabrizio put up a video of just basically confirming what we already know. Probably the way he's worded it is that obviously we're interested in Gyökeres. So are Arsenal.
And Arsenal have been in touch recently.
Yeah,
apparently.
And apparently, just the last one he already put up was that we had been not even talking to Sporting to make an offer, literally to the representatives of Gyökeres.
Okay.
Last week, over the weekend, and again this week. So they're in constant looking for knowledge to be kept in the loop, basically, of how a move could be made possible without us having European football.
Yeah, I mean, we're allowed to speak to his agent, and his agent is allowed to speak to us. You know what I mean? That's not breach. Tapping up is direct contact between a football club member and Viktor Gyökeres. So where I sat on it when I seen it come through was, I felt a bit like, duh, of course we're interested. It's not a story to start with. And has the club approached Sporting Lisbon, which was confirmed today? No, they have not. Sporting president said he hasn't spoke to anybody about Viktor Gyökeres' transfer. And, you know, that Viktor Gyökeres is not annoyed, as the Portuguese reports have come out and said, about this fallacy that there was a gentleman's handshake on a transfer fee, that he's going to the Club World Championship, and that's why there's nothing agreed. The lad is focused on playing for Sporting post this transfer window in the upcoming tournament. That's it. There's no story there. But Mum, you were deep in the trenches the other night, so what were the sources saying? How close is the deal according to the Street?
I was done and dusted.
Was it? I missed it. Like, I seen you put in. I know Goldbridge jumped on and said it was close, but so did. Was it Ornstein or?
No, it was Ben Jacobs.
Ben Jacobs.
Yeah.
They were all breaking it. You know, it's going to happen, and then Gobert's he went on live and he came out and said basically, from what I've heard, so whoever his source is, I would be surprised if the deal wasn't done and United basically didn't end up getting Gyökeres. So whatever he's heard, whatever's whispered in his ear,
Well, he got
and
the
he's
wrong
heard.
information, didn't he?
What does your guts tell you?
Depends what Sporting wants.
Yeah, it
You think it's
depends.
wrong, no wrong? In your honest opinion, like I know you read a lot on the media channels and a lot on. Do you see this happening? Do you see Gyökeres as a United player before the window ends?
Head? Don't know. Heart, yeah.
Heart, God, hopefully.
So you're saying it 50-50, you can see it happening then?
I can see it happen, but I think the last time that an incident like this happened at Sporting was Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes was the same. He threatened, and he wasn't going to play in the Cup for Benfica and all this palaver. He ended up playing in the Cup against Benfica, but they did let him go in January. So, I mean, I don't know what gentleman's agreements that they have between the club and the player, but I think he was. It's sort of like people have a knee-jerk reaction anyway. They think, right, I'm going to have my choice of clubs because my fee is low. And because my fee is low, I'm getting more wage where I go. Right, he's on 27,000 a week anyway. So wherever he goes, that'll be double, tripled.
He's on what?
So that's all he's on. All he's on. 27,000 a week.
Oh, I didn't realise his wages were that low. No wonder he wants to leave then. No, oh God, I didn't realise that. Well, that throws the cat amongst the pigeons, doesn't it? No one.
He wants out. He has said that.
I'm sure he wants the
out.
money now. He's 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the actual gentleman's agreement was, if I stay for this season, you don't basically block any move away this summer.
Yeah, but don't put an extortionate price in it either, Kieran.
Yeah, I believe it's €80 million.
Yeah,
they want 80 million. They want the first one. He wanted to go for 50 million sterling. I think. Yeah, something like that.
That was the rumour that there was a gentleman's handshake that said that he could leave for 57 million, that they would make 37 million in profit on him, agency fees and all the rest paid into it. Sporting would be happy and he would be happy at 57 million. Then Sporting president said that's nonsense. We never agreed that. What we said is we would wait until the player wanted to leave and we would assess his value at that stage, but that we will not demand €100 million. But that's okay, right? You're not demanding €100 million. But as I said at the very start of this podcast, that's not to say you can't turn around and say, right, well, 90 is not 100, so 90 million.
95 is not 100.
99.
99.9 is not 100.
Not 100, is it?
99.9, just to be drive the knife in, just to make it drag on the whole summer.
And this, do you know what? This is where he dug my heels in. I got really flippant the other night with everyone. Sporting Lisbon don't have to let you talk to their player unless you pay what they want you to pay. The notion that Manchester United, Arsenal, any football club were just going to come along and bully the Portuguese champions and sign him in that window before the Club World Championship, I looked at it and it just smacked of arrogance. I thought, so Sporting Lisbon are going to let their best asset talk to a football club before they go to the Club World Championship? A Club World Championship that is the first of its kind, that they're all stockpiling players for, but they're going to let Gyökeres, no chance.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that he is an asset. He is the asset. Now I know they sold that guy to Chelsea. Forget his name. We were looking at him. The young player.
The backup striker.
The winger. Yes.
Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he was sold.
The right winger.
He's only 18 or something.
No, the wee 17-year-old is it Quenda?
Yes.
The right wing back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Baller.
Yeah.
Is it Giovanni Quenda or it begins with a G? Yeah. Brilliant player. Prospect.
He was scary against City. Not just because of the way he got forward, but the way he kept coming back and fainting.
Yeah. I was drilled in them. You can tell I was drilled in them.
Yeah, there was a deep understanding of how to play that role, Kieran.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we need in that role as well. Obviously, it looks like Ahmad's going to be the player in that role for us this season coming, but we'll get into that. But I suppose it's finding that right midfielder and left midfielder that will do that job well for Manchester United as well.
Diallo he didn't, how to say this, he wasn't brilliant defensively, but he didn't perform the worst I've seen. And given what he gives going forwards, if you could find a way to make him a better defender, or find a way to make him like Quenda, where he's just tenaciously kind of forcing you into the stronger defenders like the centre backs, and he's closing the space, I think that could be a cracking asset for Manchester United. I would like to see us sign a right wing back, so that we're not kind of pinning our hopes on Ahmed Diallo being facilitated. Or it didn't. Did anyone watch the Portugal final the other night?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that when they realised that Joao Neves was a mistake, well, he's not a mistake, they just played him in the wrong position. Martinez being Martinez, trying to shoehorn the older players in. But anyway, when Joao Neves had to come off, he chose Nelson Semedo of Wolves to come on and left Diallo sitting on the bench. I thought that was telling.
I know there's no. Well, I know it's only early in the transfer window, but you know we spoke about them rumours of Diogo Dalot possibly being one of the makeways to raise some funds for like players better suited to the system. But I don't know. I know it's only the first wee short window, and it's closing now today, I think, or yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday,
so there's
yesterday.
So like it's a long way to go, but I think we will all be happy enough for Dalot to leave. He's not our favourite. Yeah. Well, it would be confusing when we'll have to pick who's our zero and who's our hero when the season starts.
We'll find someone.
Who else do we pick now?
We'll find a scapegoat.
He's been a really honest character of Manchester United, but I think Mazraoui has kind of spoiled it a bit, because Mazraoui's a better defender, and you're looking at it going, United need to sign a right back. You know, Mazraoui and Dalot, I don't see as starters for the long-term ambitions of winning the bigger trophies. So if a starting right back came in, you can only keep one of those, because like we're saying, I think if you're playing a smaller opposition, or you're looking for an attacking option in a game that's maybe a draw, or when you're one behind, Ahmed Diallo comes in the right wing back position, and Mbeumo plays ahead of Ahmed Diallo, and then your striker. So that's a very attacking right wing. So they're going to do that. You don't need Dalot and Mazraoui, and I don't think I would get rid of Mazraoui over Dalot. I would get rid of Dalot. But then Portuguese compatriots, how much does that count for with Ruben Amorim's thinking?
Well, that'll tell all.
Yeah, but down to the club as well. I think if a good offer came in for Dalot, the club will take it.
Think so.
He's not Bruno Fernandes. Put it like that.
No, well, Dalot's been there. How long's Dalot been there in the club now? 7-8 years.
7-8 years, I'd say. Yeah, 7 at least.
Yeah. You know, I think we can agree he suited the Ten Hag system and the four at the back a lot more. I think he had, and dare I say, shone a bit first with certain spells in different seasons gone past. But I think the three at this system now with Ruben Amorim doesn't suit.
There's too much of a workload as a wing back now. You have to get up and down that pitch. You have to do your defensive duties along with your offensive duties.
Yeah, he gets lost positionally, and he's not a great crosser of the ball. And I think that showed last year when he looked at his best when he was speeding into the box, or when he was going in and trying to take the ball from a midfielder and run maybe those 2 yards beyond. But then when it was given out to him, he couldn't cross the ball in properly.
He was caught out far too often.
Back post. He always gets caught at the back post.
He always gets caught. He has no awareness.
He has no position sense.
No, he just can't do it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I know we've digressed completely away from Viktor Gyökeres here, but it does look likely that Man United will sign a striker. I think we can say that. We're definitely going to see a striker at United.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Also, one of the main priorities, I think, is the striker role. And considering how we've started the transfer this summer, and we've got Cunha in the door, and Mbeumo looks to be, there's going to be a second bid, and he wants United. That's two of the top scoring players in the Premier League last season being signed pretty quickly, before any major outgoings.
And Cunha had an assist last night for Brazil.
Yeah.
Seen that. Seen that. Casemiro played the full 90 for Brazil last night too.
Yeah. Well,
Over
it's
Ederson.
Yeah.
who were who they were apparently looking
Yeah.
at.
How much
Not
do you
just
read into
us.
that?
Couple clubs
Word on the
looking at it.
street.
Yeah, I
Word
mean,
on the
completely
street.
fresh eyes from a new manager, Ancelotti. World class pedigree of a manager. He's going into his first game. They have to win it to qualify for the World Cup. And when he made his selection, he chose Casemiro over Ederson to
But
slot in as a holding midfielder.
did he not play under Ancelotti at Madrid for it?
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ancelotti knows what he's going to get from him.
He knows
Yeah.
knows how to
And
play him.
they needed that win last night.
You
Yeah,
know,
well, it's hard to read into one game. I just thought it was telling that Casemiro was picked over Ederson, considering the interest there is in Ederson. So I do think Gyökeres or a striker transforms Man United. I really do. I think if you have that front line going into next year and options like Mount, Højlund, Diallo, all of a sudden
Maybe.
Bruno never has to step in as a 10. He can constantly play the 6. And I think if Bruno Fernandes is there with those options ahead of him, Cunha, Mbuemo, Gyökeres constantly making those penetrating runs, you would trust Bruno to look a wee bit sharper next season when he picks out those passes.
yeah, absolutely. I think, well, here's one. Højlund. And he's quite now. He's quite and said, do we keep him? And if we do sign a big striker, say we do sign Gyökeres, hypothetical, or whether it's a deadline day Osman transfer with Gyökeres falls through, and you have that experienced nailed on goal scorer, do you keep Højlund to learn and play the role probably he should be playing at that age? Give him another chance, maybe the second striker. Or do you part way and get rid of him? I know we were all at the end of the last season. We were all pretty get rid.
What was that one?
It's a toss up for me. If he goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays.
Yeah.
It depends who we get through the door in the striker position.
So I have two feelings on that, right? First off, we're treating this as if Viktor Gyökeres is going to come in and be a success. Okay?
Yeah.
The conversion ratio from Portuguese players coming from the Portuguese League to the Premier League, poor. Really poor. The one that sticks out in my head is that Darwin Núñez looked like a world-class footballer at Benfica. He was incredible. His speed was too much for the Portuguese League. He was taking them on. He was getting beyond people. His attributes suited it. He is dog shit in the Premier League because the Premier League defenders are fast and they're physical as well. And just being tall and quick is not going to be good enough. You need to be a clinical finisher. Now, I think Gyökeres is a very, very good finisher, but he lives off the fact that he's almost more powerful than the defences he goes up against. So he bullies people. You're not going to do that in the Premier League. The likes of a Chelsea or stuff like that, those more physical teams, the Brentford backline, they're not going to let you simply roll them or get into that physical battle. He's a big lad, but he's going to come up against you. Imagine Gyökeres versus Van Dijk next season.
Yeah, he could falter or he could relish it.
Exactly. So
know.
to the Højlund point, why would you get rid of Rasmus Højlund? I don't think I would.
No, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it's a huge gamble because then if Gyökeres can't get up to speed and Gyökeres starts to fail a wee bit, are you turning to Xerxes till the end of the year? No.
Are you hoping for Cheetah Obi wonder season?
Well, he's having a good tournament with Denmark.
Yeah, he's
Some
scored
people-
and assisted.
He's a brilliant talent, but I think we all have seen the consequences of rushing.
Brilliant talent in the making, Rory. He's not ready.
Yeah.
Garnacho and Garnacho is going to live long in my memory, as well as the other players of the post-Ferguson era. Adnan Januzaj sticks out in my head. Just people that thought they were going to be it too quick, too soon, because United made them believe that.
Yeah.
Cheetah Obi can stay in the reserves. He can come in and out of the first team squad. He can play in League Cup games and all that jazz. I do think if we sign a Gyökeres and you've got Cheetah Obi there is still room to keep all four.
Yeah.
Xerxes in other games can play as a 10. And I think Cheetah Obi could come in as a 10 and try and learn to play off a striker so that he understands maybe the requirement of being a striker a bit better. There's a brilliant thing in the Ajax team where they make you play in different positions so you understand the position you're playing in better. Like a right back has to play right midfield so that you understand the consequence of not protecting your right back. That sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Right. So moving on, we'll cover Gyökeres. Word on the street. Take it away, Jacqueline McGuinness. Give us the latest rumours.
I shall consult my notes, okay?
Awesome.
Right, plenty.
Usually there's some crackers in here that you've pulled off some sort of forum or...
Not tonight.
No crackers, no?
Oh.
One name that's coming up numerous times today, not just today, but in the past as well. Hayden Hackney.
Yeah.
The wee defensive midfielder plays for Middlesbrough.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, Wilcox wants him, right? He's 23. His strengths are passing, which is very strong, key passes and long shots. He has been described as a young Michael Carrick with phenomenal work rate. 20 million. Oh no, they're saying 20 million, but he's at the Euros, the under 21 Euros at present. So if England do really well in the under 21 Euros, it could go up.
Wasn't there another team looking into him there?
There's got a few teams. There's Tottenham. Oh God, there's a couple of London teams.
Where's he from?
Yorkshire.
Okay, so 50-50. Hayden Hackney.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him, guys.
Neither did I.
I've only heard of him from X and Instagram and stuff. I've seen there's been a few teams, higher up the table than us in the top four, interested in as a prospect, obviously, that he's...
Yeah. Well, apparently Middlesbrough told him that he could go if they didn't get promoted. So they said he will leave.
Oh.
Okay, 20 million pounds for a midfielder, pretty decent money. I do think we need another holding midfielder in there. You need a succession plan. Casemiro will go eventually. I don't believe in Toby Collier, guys. I don't know what your feelings are on him, but I'm not sold.
No. Good player, but not to that level.
Yeah.
Apparently we did. I don't know if you've the name down on your list, Jacqueline. I don't know if it was confirmed on X. I don't know how any weight that is, but there's like a midfielder. Is it from Southampton's youth team that?
He's a defender, actually.
Wilcox was very interested in, and apparently it's going to cost us 1 million or something.
Yeah. He's 16. Harley, you just stole my thunder now. He was on third on my list.
Brilliant.
I'll do my homework.
Edison James, right? He's 16-year-old centre back. He's impressed scouts with his ball playing attributes and athleticism, and he's seen as one of England's most talented young players. He has played for Southampton under 18s a couple of times.
Okay.
So he's through the door. Wilcox worked at Southampton, so he knows some of the talent coming through.
He would. He has previous of setting up this type of successional plan. You know what I mean? He did it at Manchester City, where he picked the likes of Foden, Palmer, all ex-Sancho, all boys that Wilcox plucked out of youth projects and brought into the Man City academy when they were trying to set up their own version of La Masia, and that was his task. So no better man to be sitting in Manchester United at the minute picking out talent. He's responsible for some huge names.
And you need players for the future as well. And even if they don't make the first team at Man United, hopefully we'll have the Chelsea and the Man City model, sell them on for high prices.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Just get revenue through the door.
The talent coming out of our own academy at the minute has been poor. Kobe Mainoo was a good one to break through, but I mean the English talent to come through, bar Kobe Mainoo, who could you point at in the current United setup and say, oh yeah, we're really proud of him? You know what I mean? Rashford probably the last one that has hit superstardom, albeit for one season, and now he's getting sold. Issues and stuff that came with that, but there's no real you nailed it there, Mum. You look at the leagues, right, and you see how many players are scattered around there that have really hit the heights from the Chelsea academy, from the City academy. That's what you want to see, even if they don't make it at your football club. You want Cole Palmer playing well at Chelsea because it looks good for your academy. You want Kevin De Bruyne to come back and bite you in the ass because it looks good for the Chelsea academy. You know, all those different types of things where you can point to it and go, right, well, it's good recruitment, albeit it didn't work out for the player here and we made a mistake, but it still points towards us doing something right, you know?
Or even if, as the club went for Owie Martin and Aidan Heaven from the Arsenal Academy.
Who found Aidan Heaven?
Isn't it Wilcox?
Was it?
And the fail.
Wow. I think he's going to be epic.
He is, definitely. But that's what I'm saying. You have to generate funds. And if you can pay $500,000 for those lads, you know, the best of their other academies that want to come and play for Man United, because those two lads in their interview with Man U TV said why they chose Man United was they would have a better chance of first team football than at Arsenal.
But they also have personality, Mum. The thing I like about Aidan Heaven is he is personality. That's
very, very big. You look at the like of Garnacho now, he thinks he's made it, and his attitude stinks.
Now, there was rumours that he was a bit of an upstart when the youth academy, but I do have to say, and I can't stand him. Okay, so it's rare for me to stick up for him, but I think we Frankensteined him.
Probably.
I think we were the masters of our own downfall when it came to Alejandro Garnacho, putting him up on a pedestal, making him believe that he was bigger than he was, and then turning him down when he can't do it. Yeah,
probably.
But I mean, it's all about personality. I tell you what, I watched United play Villa in the last game of the season. I think Ollie Watkins done Aidan Heaven. Aidan Heaven came out, tried to play a pass. Watkins got in front of it, and he hounded Watkins down and put the ball out of play. But once he put the ball out of play, he turned around and apologised to his teammates. You seen him put the hands up to his teammates like, you know, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. So it was that work rate and then that humility afterwards to go, made a mistake there guys, I apologise. I take that attitude over the likes of Garnacho stropping and spouting out on Instagram, and I'm a massive fan of Aidan Heaven.
Oh, by the way, apparently his brother is his agent. Remember we were discussing that in the last podcast. Apparently his brother is his agent. Younger brother. No, sorry.
Garnacho's?
Yes.
Isn't Rashford something to do with... Rashford's brother something to do with him?
Rashford's brother's,
Rashford's his agent. His older brother though. This wee lad's only about 16 or 17.
Who, him?
Garnacho's brother.
Garnacho's brother.
That can't be right. There's no way Garnacho's agent is a 17-year-old.
Apparently it is.
Is that legal?
No. I'm just thinking as well.
That sounds illegal.
Yeah, no.
There's no way that Alejandro Garnacho's 17-year-old brother.
Well, that's what I read.
Are you sure that it's not just a piss take because his socials are so childish?
It could be. I don't know, but it said that he is his agent.
His petty likes and comments are coming from a 17-year-old.
Never off the socials.
I wonder if that's actually true.
It is.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah.
I told you.
So he signed with an agency that's owned by two South Americans, right? Kike De Lucas and Carlos Cambiero. But the only reason he signed with them and not a larger agency is that he insisted that his younger brother be part of his representation. So his brother, Roberto Garnacho, has a share of his image rights and represents him as part of a trio of agents.
Yeah.
No wonder he's a twat.
Mad.
Oh, he's no hope.
Two wagons.
What is it with Manchester United? We're totally digressing because the context of this was around academy projects and us taking in these two young English lads, right? But we'll get back onto that in a minute. What is it with Manchester United creating absolute dickhead footballers?
I think it's the stature of the club.
The
young players coming to, like the same with if you went to Real Madrid or Barcelona, you know, and stuff like that. It is the stature of the club.
But they don't do that at Real Madrid or Barcelona. They don't. It's a rare occurrence. You can point to Ousmane Dembele maybe in the past, where Barcelona had real issues with his attitude and discipline. Pedri, Gavi, the amount of Spanish talent in that Barcelona team, and they're a credit to Barcelona. They're hard-working, brilliant personality lads. Real Madrid have some of the best young talent in the world in Jude Bellingham and Tchouaméni and Camavinga, and they don't cause issues, mum. Rodrigo and Vinny Jr. Rodrigo just wants to play football and go home to the house. Never a media scandal about any of those players. We are stuck with Greenwood, right? The latest Frankenstein project is Garnacho with his behaviour on social media and his brother backing him up. Marcus Rashford speaks for himself. So I do get your point that there's a heightened expectation, but I think United are just culturally poor.
I was just going to say that, Rory. I think we touched on it a few times. The toxicity.
Yes.
It's
in that dressing room. Yeah.
In that dress from top to bottom for 10 years since Fergie left, with the setup, the people above the manager, the Glazers, all the way up from the top of the tree to the bottom. The mindset and the culture is wrong.
I agree.
And it has been wrong. And it's these young boys like Garnacho, the Rashfords coming in. Yes, they've come in with the attitude and we've made it and we're going to be superstars. But it's down to the club and the right manager to coach them.
And some of the senior players as well, Kieran.
Yeah.
Get them by the scruff of the neck and tell them to wise up.
Exactly.
I think
into the correct, what I mean? Into the correct mindset, Rory.
It's hard when you have a club that is
not successful,
and while they're not being successful, they change managers every couple of years. So Garnacho can turn around and go, somebody probably pulled Garnacho and turn around and go, I don't think you should have done that on Instagram. To which the action probably is, fuck him. They think I'm a superstar and he'll be gone the year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And how do you compete and overcome that? And that has been an issue for ages. Mourinho tried to take on Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard and other people in the club and ended up losing his job. So what example does that set when you constantly choose the talent over the manager? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the club's problem, Rory. That's their part. So you have to take that away. Take that power away.
Correct that.
Get rid of them all.
Gradually. Get rid of them.
Get rid of the bad eggs. And that's what you're saying. Garnacho's going. Rashford's going. Sancho's going.
Needs to go.
Yeah.
I think he's a weasel. I think I say this every podcast when I think of him.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd feel.
He's a weasel.
Yeah.
We know.
He sits in the hospital bed getting all the inside scoop and leaks it out
and just stirring the pot, and I'd say he's one of them ones that be sneaking in the background going, I can see them training drills and stuff he's doing. He'll not even be here next year. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, see, that's what you need. You need squad players. You need personnel. You need men in that dressing room. They're like a Harry Maguire. They're like a Casemiro.
Yeah. I think he keeps Maguire and Casemiro.
I hope he does, because we need senior players.
110. Yeah. Well, you need to keep retain a few, even if they're not starting every game. Casemiro came out and said, what was it, the last season? He's more proud of the season he had last season than some in his career, even with Real Madrid, just because of the fact that it made him work harder and look at himself and come back. Personal growth at his age.
That's a challenge for him as well.
A brilliant few months there at the end of the season for Pedro.
I think it's maturity too, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's maturity too, because Casemiro is one of them players that can honestly sit in any changing room, look around the room and be like, it's going to take somebody special in here to have won more than I have. I have done it all consistently. Champions Leagues, La Ligas, Spanish Copa del Rey, came to England, won the FA Cup, won the Carabao, could have won the Europa League, sat at Manchester. So he doesn't have to prove himself to anyone. And I think what you get when you have someone like that is you get a role model. You get an example of everything that we're talking about that we want to do different. You would look at Casemiro and be like, right, don't be like the Luke Shaws and the Rashfords of the world. This is pretty professional. There's a reason these boys haven't won what he's won, and it's because he equips himself in the way that he does. Harry Maguire needs to stay. I love that man.
Yeah.
He's a hero. If you're chasing the game in the last 10 minutes, you know exactly who you're putting
still in the statue.
Yeah. Victor Gyökeres hooked off 81st minute. Harry Maguire up front. Watch this, Gyökeres.
Sit and learn, boy.
Go 4-4-2. Gyökeres on Harry Maguire.
Yeah. Gyökeres sitting with 36 goals during the season, but can you head a ball like this? Because it's coming. When you see 85th minute, bang, to Maguire. Yeah, so is there any others, Mum? Any other word on the streets from the county?
There's a Polish goalkeeper, he plays for Nice, and last year of his contract. Marcin, look, I'm going to butcher the name, of course I am. Bulka. But the only thing is, he plays for Nice.
So
This coming out of the French
that
papers.
Manchester United could be looking for 2 goalkeepers. They're trying to keep Tom Heaton because of Tom Heaton's influence around the training ground. Apparently
They have offered him a year's extension.
Yeah, apparently he's a really good lad. Even if he doesn't play, apparently he's an absolute gent. But did I read that Bayindir wants to go? He does want to play a first team somewhere.
I read that near the end of last season.
I think he wants back to Turkey, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does he? Yeah, because I keep seeing these rumours pop up. Oh, Manchester United should have went for Kepa Arrizabalaga, and United are going for a £2 million goalkeeper here. And I thought, well, that's not going to be the first teamer, so they're signing a backup and a keeper, which is hard to do in one window, by the way.
Yeah, well, especially
word on the street had Donnarumma.
Yeah, I still seen that.
Yeah.
I know.
Source, trust me, bro.
I know this.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on. Okay, give me another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here's one for you. Right?
Oh.
This is coming out of Italy. That United have contacted Napoli about Viktor Osimhen. That although his buyout clause is €75 million, they are willing to part exchange Xerxes. And he wants to come to the Premier League. And apparently he loves Man United.
Yeah, it's the Gallo factor.
Yeah.
Agent Gallo.
What do you call it? Galatasaray can't afford him.
I thought he was going to Saudi.
No, he's turned down Saudi.
He turned down.
Right.
And he's on €167,000, I think, a week.
I really don't want him. I have only recently been able to calm my feelings about signing Gyökeres because I didn't want a striker out of the Premier League.
You were teamed up.
I fucking really struggled to motivate myself. Just based on what?
I read the same thing. Only he was Highland. They were part
Based on clickbait, to be quite honest. Yeah. We're looking at strikers, so any striker worth their help will be linked to us.
So, right, let me get this straight. So we spend 5 minutes there talking about cultural deficiencies within our football club, the wrong attitudes and personalities being in, and then you want to fucking sign Viktor Osimhen. There's no one seen this lad's behaviour over the past couple of years. He talked himself out of Napoli, out of Serie A, to the point where the only club that would take him was Turkish club Galatasaray, because he almost was going to sit and dwell in the reserves because he pissed everyone off in Italy. Right? Gets over to Galatasaray, is scoring goals, yaps about the standard of football, yaps about the standard of the football club. Galatasaray said they want to keep him, but he won't agree the terms there. Saudi came in with the big money and he was chasing the money for a bit. Then he won't agree the terms there. And then,
He sounds like another Sancho.
Yeah.
He sounds like a Sancho, doesn't he?
He sounds like everything we don't need. He sounds like a Man United player.
An old Man United player.
Yeah, but do you know what I'm saying? That tongue in cheek is in. He sounds like he's a Woodward signing.
Yeah.
Woodward would have leapt on that. He would have been in the door in that early window.
Yeah, but see, this is the muppetry of the transfer window, right? Because you're going to get. It is funny though, some of the stories you read, but you're going to get agents and the selling club. Oh, Man United's interested in him, or Chelsea's interested in him. Do you know what I'm saying? That's to hype him up,
I get you.
value up as well, to drum up interest in him.
He's a good goal scorer. He just screams trouble.
Yeah, he does to me too. He's just a wrong character, I think.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I was like saying the Viktor Gyökeres thing. Viktor Gyökeres to me seems like a really nice, humble, steady lad.
Yeah.
Who is an I didn't realise the lad's physical stature is an animal. Now, I wanted Liam Delap in because Liam Delap could bully centre backs and get stuck in the English way.
Yeah.
You know,
Gyökeres would bully Liam Delap.
Yeah, but you look at his performance against Man City.
yeah.
And the lad's record speaks for itself, no matter what league he's in.
We chatted earlier about track records of Portuguese league players coming to the Premier League, but there's one team that we know who has a pretty good track record with signing players from Sporting.
Yeah.
It's United.
Albeit
Nani, Ronaldo, Bruno.
I mean, he's been in England. He has been in England. I suppose he does it, but he wasn't great when he was in England.
Well,
He's
very young,
been
though.
made by Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, so let's just hope that continues.
Well,
Anything
that's the
else on
factor.
the word on the street segment, Mother?
No, that's all I have.
Nothing about Emi Martinez. Was hoping he would come up.
No, they're they're regurgitating stuff. Martinez. They're still interested in Martinez. We're interested in everybody. We know the press knows, and all the bloggers and vloggers know. Man United are looking at a goalkeeper and a striker.
Yeah.
So that'll be the headlines. Oh, United sign the next Pat Jennings or whatever.
Yeah.
That's come
And
way
they're all
back
coming in,
now.
they're all coming in saying that obviously Ruben Amorim, whoever doesn't want Onana. So obviously they're all going to, who would, but they're all going to jump on now and say, oh, United's linked with this keeper, and all the rest, like Donnarumma.
Donnarumma.
I
In
like
fact, he was
Onana.
pondering the move.
Yeah, I like Onana. I do. See, if you watch Onana being interviewed and stuff like that, he's a very likeable character. And part of me feels really bad for him that it didn't work out at Manchester United, because he went from being up from Ballon d'Or to being a bit of a laughingstock. Andrew Onana, and is he going to go to Saudi? This move, as many other players have experienced in it, seems to have killed his career, but he has to go here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He is single-handedly responsible for a good 15 points this year, if not more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Easy. And putting us out of cup competitions, Champions League and all included.
Oh, he was shambolic in the Champions League. He really was. Wish him well, but I wish him gone.
He needs to leave. He does. I think, as much as I think the forward line that we are describing signing changes Manchester United's attack, I think a good solid goalkeeper behind our defence would give us a much clearer view of what that back three is like. Matthijs de Ligt, Lenny Yoro and Aidan Heaven and Lisandro Martinez when he comes back. A really settled goalkeeper like Emi Martinez with a maturity and that composure, and has played in the Premier League and knows the attackers and the strikers and just fills you full of that sense of one or two saves a game where you think, oh shit, I've made a mistake there, and Martinez bails you out. That's when you look at the goalkeeper and be like, okay, here we go.
As a defensive unit, you need to be confident in the goalkeeper behind you.
Yeah, he needs to bail you out when you make a mistake.
If I slip or if I fuck up, I know there's a worldly keeper behind me who has a chance of sparing my blushes, if you will. But if you live in the fear and you don't have the confidence, like, fuck, if this guy gets past me, it's near certainly a goal.
Exactly, or
makes you jittery defending the box.
Yeah.
Is he going to call
things with Andrew Onana you couldn't even defend. What team in the Premier League had to send the right back and the left back out to judge whether somebody was going to play a diagonal cross? Because if the person hits it on target, there's a good chance Onana won't be able to read that. Whatever it is with him in trigonometry, he doesn't read angles right, so the ball keeps going in at the back post. That would be, if you're a defender, I'm saying that in jest, if you're a defender, you'd be sitting going, what's the point in turning out today?
What's the point?
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
got a forward line that can't score goals, and he's letting the crosses in, not even the shots.
And another one that's been linked to us, right? Ter Stegen.
Yes.
Right.
I read that too.
Yeah,
I laughed at Donnarumma because Donnarumma is batshit crazy. Okay, there could be a shred of truth in Ter Stegen.
Yeah, because they want him out. He said he's digging his heels in. This is in the Spanish papers. He's digging his heels in. He says he's going nowhere. But they bought a goalkeeper recently, or brought in a goalkeeper. The Spanish. We were looking at him as well. Garcia, maybe it's not Garcia, but
David Garcia.
I don't know, Kieran, but they've bought a goalkeeper.
But hear me out. Rashford wants Barcelona. If there is any truth in the Ter Stegen,
Yeah, but could be like Frankie de Jong.
could it be
Barcelona wanted him gone, wanted him off the wage book.
books
But
off
he
the
didn't
books?
want to
Yeah,
go. Ter Stegen's the same. It's a lifestyle in Barcelona as well,
yeah, that's it.
especially if you have family.
That could be the case too. You know,
Yeah. Give up
so
sunny Spain to go to rainy Manchester? No, thank you.
no, not in the current
Definitely not.
the current situation.
No, saying the summer looks to be heading towards a washout anyway.
uh, especially over here.
So Barcelona bought a goalkeeper called Joan Garcia
No, I
from
was right.
That was the
Espanyol.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Wojciech Szczesny filled in at the end of the year because all their goalkeepers were missing, weren't they? Ter
Ter
Stegen, I
Stegen was
don't think
injured,
at this
was he
stage
not?
of his
Or
career
did
will
they drop
want.
him?
Did they?
I don't know. He was captain at one stage now, but they want him out. He's been offered to Man United.
He's a great keeper.
He's class
yeah.
keeper.
What do you think? You think if we can, if at some stage in the transfer window, United can, I know that it wouldn't take much to improve on the kind of keeping the Onanas giving us at the minute, but if you get that spine right in the team and add
Yeah.
goals to the team like we are at the minute with Mbeumo and Cunha, and if we add Gyökeres to that, that's the if, I hope we do, that solves some big issues in that team.
Yeah.
We talk about the frailties and the style. The manager has to get used to the team, and the team have to get used to the style of play. But if you look at even the goals we conceded, I know Ronaldo's in the nest now. It was kind of on the same kind of level as the Villas and Newcastle's and all the rest. But our goals scored was absolutely shambolic.
It was
Oh,
gone
It was
from
like
that.
we scored 40, 41, 42 goals in the whole of the Premier League.
That's shocking.
there's so many
That
games
was
we
good.
watched where we never looked like scoring.
No,
It
and
was brutal to
and
watch.
that context, the teams I mentioned around that 4th, 5th, 6th position have at least 20 goals on us.
Yeah.
Do you know?
That to me, interested to hear your opinions on, is where you need to look at a steady, safe pair of hands. You can't look at a young potential goalkeeper from Man United at the
No.
minute. I've seen a few linked that are very unproven and thought, no, I would like to see it go to an Emi Martinez or a Ter Stegen, because you know what you're getting. You know they can stop shots.
Yeah, but
you know that they're
you're
going to be
not.
comfortable coming for the ball. You know they'll talk to their back lines.
You're not only getting quality, Rory, you're getting experience.
Experience.
And that's what we
Yeah.
need.
That's where I think Morton is, maybe for me, right? I'm not saying, not getting into a quality issue here, right? That for me is where if you offered me, took all the figures out and said, right, you can have Ter Stegen or you can have Martinez, I would take Martinez.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Martinez has played in the Premier League. He's
And,
been very, very good for Villa. I know you think he's a bit of a clown, mum, and
He is a
some
clown.
of his
But
antics
he's a
are.
very good goalkeeper.
But he's a goalkeeper. They were a bit mad.
Yeah.
It does take a special breed of person to be a goalie.
And he'll have that
And he
like
defines
international.
madness, Rory.
Hey,
He defines madness.
He has a bit of swagger.
Super clown.
he's a bit of an idiot. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a very good goalie and he's very steady and he's very safe.
He's excellent
So I
goalie.
think he'd be very good.
know.
Okay, so now we've got out a word on the street word. So this is a question. I'm going to open the floor to the two of you to discuss. Okay, how much does this pre-season actually mean to Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, and how much can we take from it in terms of how the team will start the season?
Where you go, Kieran?
Cool. Well, it's what we all wanted. We were all waiting for. It was one of our big excuses for Amorim this season. He had no pre-season. None of us won one signing. So I think in context, it is a very important pre-season. It's a chance for. I think that's why we wanted to get a few signings done early. So we'll have that time on the training ground, and getting the time on the training pitch. So I think like if we go into the next season, like we said, we start badly, like we have, and after a full pre-season and matches and signings in the door, then the eyes will start to turn on Amorim pretty quickly. So I think it's vitally important that the pre-season is done right, and gets the momentum built and starting the new season well.
Yeah. Well, Mum, what do you think of? First off, what do you think of this pre-season? Is this pre-season important?
Very.
Think so?
I think this is the start of Amram's reign. I hope that he gets in most of the players that he wants, because and you just see whoever goes in pre-season. The results for me in pre-season aren't really important, because that year that Louis van Gaal was in charge and we won all the match, we thought, right, here we go, we're winning everything, we won feck all. Do you know what I mean? But I think this is the chance for that collective group to get together, to train on his tactics, that hopefully everybody's fit, and to leave those behind in Manchester that won't be part of his project.
Yeah.
I think that it needs to be a cohesive unit that's all pulling together, not pulling each other apart. So I think this pre-season is very important. As I said, I'll reiterate, not for the results, but because of for him to get that cohesiveness, to get across in that condensed time that he has alone with those players. Nobody's going off into international matches or whatever they're doing, that he can drill them. And hopefully then he will know who is following his command and who isn't.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important.
But I think you made a very interesting comment there that I really agree with. I think he should be brave like Enzo Maresca was last season and turn around and go, you, and you. You're not coming, guys. You need to find new clubs. You'll stay with the reserves, and if you want to see out your contracts and finish playing football, then that's okay. But you're not coming on tour. You either find a new club, or we'll pay you up till the end, and that'll be that. And to that point, if he finds that people dig their heels in, then maybe there is scope to go to for the betterment of Manchester United, even though it'll hurt and it's a really short-term pain for long-term gain, and say, look, how much could we offer him to cancel the contract and fuck him off?
But I think the hierarchy will let him do that. I don't think there'll be any that Woodward nonsense. Oh, he has to go because of commercial reasons, and we have, commercial responsibilities and blah blah. I think the like of Barada and the like of Wilcox say, if you don't want to take them, if they're not going to play it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it'll be to the detriment of the unit taking disturbers and upstarts.
Yeah.
That are going to moan, sitting on the bench and not get picked. No, leave them behind Manchester.
Absolutely, and I think Jack, just to build on that, I think the Garnacho situation has kind of shown that a bit.
Yeah.
When he's come out and said, Amram has said to basically in the front of find a new club, and he has been put out the door.
I'm sure Garnacho wasn't the only one he said that to, Kieran.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sure behind closed doors there's been a few that said, right, on your bike.
Rory, I see you smile a wee bit because I mentioned Garnacho.
Why are you smiling? I don't like it when you smile, Rory. That's
so happy that he's leaving.
I always hated him. He just didn't have the right attitude for me. Kieran loved him, and there's a lot of Manchester United fans that do love him. A lot of Manchester United fans that I work with. Bitterly disappointed. He's a brilliant player. He's just a rat.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like I haven't had much to hold on to watching Manchester United play this last year, and fair enough when Garnacho gets on the ball and he's in full flight and he is taking on people, he's the most exciting to watch. Whether he fits the system or not, and if he beats a player and nearly scores a worldie, it's the most excitement we've had.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pity his personality didn't match his talent, though.
No.
But I was laughing because how humbling must it have been for the mighty Alejandro Garnacho when Ahmed Diallo was asked in a press conference and his manager started laughing. It was just a mixture of, this is brilliant, keep asking that question because I really hate this lad, so please keep asking. I mean, he didn't even grace Diallo was sitting beside him trying to be serious, and Amram's just like so conflicting sort of thoughts on the pre-season or what I took up. Mum, you were saying it has to be a good pre-season, but pre-season doesn't really count for anything because we go on our winning streak, Van Gaal's team are poor, and Ten Hag
No, I
with the
think the
results.
results don't mean anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the results do.
Yeah?
I think when you've just come off, I don't think pre-season is a testament to how you're going to play this season, but I think when you've just come off the back of such heavy criticism over, you know, everything up until your open bus tour in your misguided Malaysian tour that you went on and how poor they were in those two games, he now has to set a precedent that this team can beat teams, that they can
Yeah.
be exciting at least. And if he loses or he draws a game, fair enough. But if you need to go through that door pre-season of last year where it was just hard to watch and you knew what was coming for Erik ten Hag, I don't think the bite will be there in September to kick them into a good
Momentum.
year, you know. Yeah, I just think the momentum needs to
Yeah.
build from the first
Build the
pre-season
Could be
excitement.
right.
game until
Yeah.
the first Premier League game. I do think the
You know,
results are
that's,
important.
yeah. That was it. I know what you're saying, like the results, but maybe more so maybe the performances, maybe.
Yeah.
Performances,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like you say, no, if we draw or whatever, but if we're playing the same kind of, can't break teams down, draw, not exciting, but if we're actually playing the way we know Ruben wants to play, and it's exciting, and there's goals scored, and all the rest, then it can be more.
I want to
What's
see
the
more
word?
goals.
Yeah,
It was dire
you know,
last season, it really was.
you know. At
And
least if
more
you,
chances created.
yeah, you'd rather get beat 4-3 than
Yeah.
goal down and not be able to break a team down and then just get fucked off basically.
Give
you
us
know,
something. Give us something to get enthusiastic about going into the new year. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
agreed.
Last season was a complete write-off. I think they owe us something this pre-season. I can understand what you mean, Mum. The results don't always dictate to what happens during the season, but I really think you owe us a glimpse of the end product now.
Well, you could
You,
be right, Roy, especially coming off a really, really poor season. That has been shocking.
morale will be low, confidence will be low in certain people. Build it in pre-season. Couple of
Yeah.
thrashings of other teams. Show that the 3-4-3 actually can work. Get Pedro Leon onto the pitch and let's see what the youngster can do. Play Eden Heaven during the pre-season and let's see what Eden Heaven can do. Now is the time to show off Cheetah Obi and play Cheetah Obi as often as possible. Give Rasmus Højlund a proper break.
yeah. When Cheetah Obi's done well there. He's got got a brace there in his first senior goal, and I think he got a brace and he set up one and he's playing well for Denmark. So it could be a good breakthrough season for Cheetah Obi. Coming off the bench or playing in the cup games or
Yeah.
good to see.
Okay, so Mum, to you, okay, the Club World Championship. I am of an age where I find it exciting to have the Club World Championship this summer. Bit of football over the summer. I know they're kicking off about fixture congestion and stuff like that, and I do get it. But with the big robust squads now, I think they're able to handle the likes of a Club World Championship. You who has supported football for X amount of years, how do you view the new Club World Championship, what it's going to be, its format, and the fact that FIFA have kind of forced the hand of clubs to take it serious with their £100 million prize money?
Nice.
Well, I'm just glad there's football on. But I think, and I know that's just selfish on my part, but I think it's ridiculous to ask players coming off it's a money-making venture. And I know there's some good teams in this club. There's some teams I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's some teams they're there to make up the numbers because they're probably going to be hammered. Or maybe not. Maybe they could surprise a lot of people. But I think it's a wee bit too much. I think that football now, and I do, you two boys know, I just love watching, a lot of leagues and stuff like that. But it's been oversaturated. That
Too much of a good thing.
there is too much of a good thing, is right, Kieran. And I think that this Nations League and the European leagues and the World Cup, and they're just trying to make so much revenue out of it now.
Yeah.
That I think it's sort of like, do you remember when you first seen your first sci-fi film, and it was all, oh my god, and the CGI was fantastic and all, and you're just going, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
For me supporting Man United, or Ireland. It's tribal. So you're always going to watch those matches. So, but all these tournaments, I think there's too many of them, to be honest. And I think that's why we're seeing so many injuries during the season in the leagues.
Yeah, there's a lot of players kicking up at all about the time as well.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day,
there are a lot of
your
players,
club, your club pays your wages. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yet all these players are
That's
expected to go to all these tournaments and perform in these tournaments.
That's what they're paid for. It's their job.
It's their job, yeah. Their league job. The Premier League is the one that's more important. Well, to me anyway.
Yeah.
So, which footballing body owns the Club World Championship? FIFA, is it?
FIFA, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's the FIFA Club World Cup.
FIFA.
Okay. I think that's the name of it. The full name of it, I think.
I mean, they're not going to give a monkeys about players overplaying. Sure, they'd be sick of all the money going to UEFA, because UEFA get the Champions League and the Europa League and now the Conference League, and they're probably looking at that going, right, well, we're going to make the Club World Championship.
Where's our slice?
Yeah. You lift all the money from the European revenue, but we're the ones that own the world footballing body, so this is our tournament now. Like, I don't know, Kieran, how do you feel as a modern fan then, in comparison to Mum, about the new format?
A modern fan, Rory? A modern fan?
I was going to say younger, but how do you want me to politely say this? As a fan that is closer to the cradle than the grave.
That's it. The door's locked for you, Rory. Absolutely locked.
I tried to be polite about it and you slapped me for it anyway, so what's the point in being polite?
I'm disowning you.
Young Macklin.
Very delicate. Very delicate.
Championship.
Go on, young Macklin. Belt it out there.
Yeah, I've never actually watched it, to be honest.
The old format was wick. The old format was like invite the champions of what essentially is the Champions League in their own countries and let them fight it out, and whoever wins wins. And it was over in a couple of weeks. No one really cared that they won it.
But this is the new format, isn't this? First year of the new format.
So the 4 highest performing teams from the individual leagues or something, or is it the 4 highest performing teams? I don't know how the format is and how they picked all these teams. There's so many teams in it. It is like, it's going to be a true reflection. Whoever walks away from this one, you're the Club World Champions. You're the best team in the world. And that's, if they view it that way and it becomes that, then every 4 years we will see the best teams on the continent come together and compete. And you know what would be really good for the sport and really good for this tournament? Infantino would love it if a non-European team won it.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to push. They're obviously trying to advertise it more this year. They're trying to make it, advertise it better and make it seem more important than in previous years.
Yeah, it's a totally different tournament. I remember my only context for the Club World Championship is playing it in Football Manager. And on Football Manager, if you were like the European Champions League champion, you were in like the quarters or the semis straight away. And other teams from lesser continents had to compete to come in with you. Then you played like 2-3 games and the winner was decided, and that was it. This is essentially the World Cup format aren't they all in a pot, 4 teams each, and they'll play each other once? Like the World Cup?
Something like that, yeah.
They're all in groups.
Yeah, but it's the World Cup format, isn't it? You play each other once, points to go through, 2 teams through per group, round of 16, quarters,
the next stage.
Yeah. I think that's class.
But you don't think it's going to disrupt the start of the season, though, for certain
We're not
teams?
in it, so fuck them.
Yes, but I'm aspiring to be in it at some stage.
Nah, it doesn't come for 4 years. Just drop out again. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, all risking their perfect restart to the season. Class. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Injuries, lads.
Tire themselves out. Injuries. There's hope.
I will be tuning in every time they're playing, just going, injuries, guys. Yes. No, I was just going to say, it will hamper their start of the season. Of course it will. Has to.
Because they have to have a holiday, don't they?
Well, I mean, if you're a European footballer, you played in the Euros last year, which is an intense tournament. You're now playing the Club World Championship. this summer, which is
Not
going to be
even
an
that,
American
Rory.
championship, and then the World Cup's next year.
Yeah, but you look at the games that were played over the last 10
World Cup
days in
next year.
Europe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's a break, and then it starts on Monday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So they've 1 week, and whoever's in the club, or the World Cup club thingy, they're back into football again, and then they're going to have a break, some sort of summer holiday. So they're missing the start of pre-season.
Well, see, this is it. You know, if you play in a World Cup, right, and you make it to the deep stages of the World Cup, your club don't really expect you back for the first 2-3 games of the season. Are they going to do that?
They'll have to.
Yeah.
Athletes need a break.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not robots.
They need a break, or they'll break down.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Boys.
Don't care. Hire more physios.
Use
Use every advantage.
Yeah. You qualify for it, so suck it up. But I mean,
Enjoy
£100
it.
million. This is the thing that Infantino that has done brilliantly. Like, no one would have been interested in it from a club sense. I think they would have kind of used it like it was used in the past, where you seen, like, I remember when Liverpool won it and their reserve team played in the semis because they were playing some team from Asia, and they still managed to make it to the final. You can't do that when £100 million at stake.
Yeah, it's all about the money, isn't it?
That's a huge dough.
Exactly.
You imagine
Yeah.
United were in that flipping. We would be coming up with strategies and every dirty trick in the book to try and lift that £100 million. That would
Yeah.
lift us out of, you
It'd
know,
be like Sporting, how much do you want?
exactly.
Yeah.
You
Here.
take a club like maybe not
Cash.
Manchester City or Chelsea, but you take I'm trying to think of a club. Sporting Lisbon's a perfect example. We're not getting Gyökeres if Sporting Lisbon win the Club World Championship because they'll have left at £100 million.
Yeah.
You can give your star
No, I
striker a
think
bumper new contract if you won £100 million.
I think he'll go, but it depends on
Don't
what
say that,
they're going to, the asking
Do you know what
price.
I mean? Like, for Sporting Lisbon, it's massive money,
Yeah.
huge.
Massive money for any club.
It is, and it's not in the realms of impossibility that Sporting Lisbon could win the Club World Championship. So
Depends on the squads that they take with them. I think that's why that transfer window is open, that short window, so the clubs could buy players, to better their squad that's playing in this Club World Championship.
yeah, and that's a good point. And you would assume
Yeah,
that with
absolutely.
the transfer activity that we just seen, that they are taking it serious, because that was a very busy short. I didn't expect that short window to deliver what it delivered. City lifting Reinders and Cherky and Nori all to play in the Club World Championship. So in a trophyless season where they were kind of getting laughed at, they're obviously looking at the Club World Championship as a redemption arc, that the season won't be lost if we're the first Club World Cup champions in its newest format. Man City are the first. They are the champions for 4 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, okay? So unfortunately that is all we have time for this week. So we will wrap it up, and I will go and probably get a phone call from my mother complaining about the old comments.
Oh, you're not getting any phone calls for the next X number of weeks. You're out of the will.
Blacklisted.
You're
Blocked out.
this list.
Brilliant. As long as you mind the dog tomorrow, I don't really care. Okay,
Of course I mind the
so
dog.
that's going to do it from us. We will see you all next time. Thanks for listening to this. Check us out on the social
folks.
media pages. We have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. Like, follow,
Bye,
subscribe.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, folks.